Welcome to topic 2.2, which focuses on interest to the scholars. Interest to the scholars, meaning the interest of your research problem to the scholars. This is something that I briefly introduced in topic 2.1, but here I'll go in a little more detail. Interest to the scholars. In line with your research problem will not be of interest to the scholarly community if, for example, it is a too personal problem. Sometimes we find ourselves proposing problems which are too personal and then we need to research them. Yes, we may research them, but they will not be of interest to the scholarly community. For example, this image shows this gentleman seated saying that he is not wearing underwear. That is too personal. So if he has some problems with his underwear, how does it become an interest to the scholarly community? Sometimes you find someone has a problem. He's an old man or an old woman, but every night he wets the bed. So that is a personal problem. Okay? So you might have a personal problem whereby when you eat some kind of food, it creates allergy. That is a personal problem. So that problem, yes, it might need to be researched. It may be, of course, as it is a problem to you, but it is personal. So such a problem that is too personal, the scholarly community will not have interest. Secondly, if you have a research problem but is only of interest to you and your family members, maybe you have a family issue, maybe among the family members there are no good relationships among them, or maybe you have a land issue among family members. Maybe there is one person who is interested in grabbing family or ancestral land. So when you describe that, yes, it is a problem, we recognize it is a problem, but it is a problem at family level. Also, your problem will not be of concern to the scholarly community if it is only just among friends. Okay? So you might find that among the friends that you have, the ones you relate with, you have a specific problem that maybe concerns specifically you and how you relate with each other. So such a problem will not be able to be brought to the attention of scholars. Even when you try to bring it to their attention, they will not give it attention because it is not of their interest. Then number 4, also, you find that the problem is too local or only applicable in a small village or a trading center. For example, you might find that there is an issue of the transformer, electricity connection in your small village or a trading center. Maybe the government promised to give you some access to national water or some access to a social service, but specifically it is to a village maybe of around 20-30 people, and specifically in a specific location. So if you have such a problem, you cannot be able to bring it to the attention of the scholarly community because it is a localized problem. So what these things that I have presented here, these points that I have made, it means that when you are thinking about something, let it be something that is not personal, and also something that is not just for family members or friends or too local. So how do we make your research problem of interest to the others? So you will need to show that there are many people who have the problem. So if it is, for example, a problem that you have about wetting the bed at night, you need to show that actually it is not just you, but probably maybe many other people in your country, in your region that have similar problem. So you need to bring it to the attention of scholars beyond you as an individual by showing that actually that particular problem affects many more people. Secondly, you need to demonstrate that the problem is beyond your family members. If it is an issue, for example, of land, you need to show that actually there has been a trend of where, for example, people, either from government or from foreign countries, have picked interest in local land, and actually they are transferring the land into their names, and it is something that is not just for your family, but it is affecting the entire community, the entire region. And you need to show, as pointed out previously in topic 2.1, that it is actually having implications to the government, or actually it may pose a risk somewhere. So therefore, when you do that, it attracts attention, and therefore it commands focus, and people will be able to pick interest. Then also number 3, should be able to convince the scholarly community that the problem is not just among friends. Usually we encourage that whenever you are thinking about a problem, let that problem not be personalized. Let that problem not be tagged to specific people, to specific friends. Let it be an open problem. So you need to convince the scholarly community that the problem is not just for friends or among friends, but the problem extends beyond friends. And this you should be able to convince still, as earlier pointed out in topic 2.1, that when you have evidence to show that the problem is not just among friends, but it cuts across a number of populations, it extends beyond ethnic boundaries, it extends even beyond, for example, specific special interest uh, groups of people. So in that way, the scholarly community will pick interest and pay attention. But also, it is important to establish that your problem is not just a local issue. Show at the minimum that is a regional issue. Better off that it is a national issue. Even much better when it is shown that it is an international issue. When you do that, it not only attracts scholars from the national level, but even scholars from the international level. Remember, when we do research, we don't just do it for the purposes of addressing a small local issue, but the research that focuses on addressing bigger issues, much better transnational or international issues, that actually enables us to command and attract the scholarly community to support us. So let me now focus on how you connect the problem to the literature. So connecting your problem to the literature is very important. This is done through answering the question, how is what I want to know of interest to others? This question simply means, how is what I want to research of interest to others? When you pose this question and start answering it, you are actually connecting your problem to literature. This will not only start to make your problem a research problem, but also it will provide you with a ticket that admits you to the scholarly community. It is very important to remember that research is not a personalized activity, is not a private activity. I usually mention that research is not a bedroom activity that is conducted between two people, usually sometimes in the dark, nobody is witnessing, nobody documents how it starts, how it proceeds, and how it ends. With research, you must be able to inform the scholarly community the process that you have gone through, the beginning, how you proceeded, and up to the end, so that another person can be able to go through the same process step by step and probably come up with the same or different results. So connecting the problem to literature in this way is very important, because admission to the scholarly community means that you should be able to be open to other people's critique of your work, but also contribute by critiquing other scholars' works. So at this level of connecting your problem to what other scholars have researched, it is a noble responsibility, expectation of any researcher when he's undertaking research. And this way, you can be able to, at the level of the problem statement formulation, be able to start building your case and also finding your foot in the scholarly community. This now leads us to activity 2.2. Based on your response to activity 2.1, show how each of the things you mentioned that you want to know, or those that you mentioned that you want to know more about, are of interest to the scholarly community. So pick out, remember, activity 2.1 was focusing on listing 2 things that you want to know or you want to know more. So those things that you listed, can you now be able to identify how they are of interest to the scholarly community? It means that you should be able to show that what you have pointed out is not a personal issue. What you have pointed out is not just an issue among friends. What you have pointed out is not just an issue among family. And also, what you have pointed out is not just a local issue. So when you complete this activity, it should be able to lead us to the identification of the sources of the problem. This is where we shall look now at what you identified as something that you want to know or you want to know more about. How did you identify it? Where did it come from? This marks the end of our topic 2.2. I look forward to meeting you in topic 2.3.